So let's look at this slide for a few minutes. Now you can see on the circle of the zodiac. Those are constellations that they resemble animals usually, but they are in the stars. So we can actually see with an expert eye where those constellations are above planet Earth and the night sky. Now, not only the Earth goes around the Sun, but the Earth goes also around the zodiac. The zodiac has to do with influences on people's life according to astrology, and also influences historical events and consciousness. This is a belief system again, but in order to become a good astrologer, you need years of study. So it is a pseudoscience, but there is some basis of very, very hard data on which those assumptions and prediction are actually based. And they're all based on what I was saying before, that time is actually cyclical. So we can predict things just because there is a trace left in the past. Although, when for instance, the Earth is also influenced magnetically by the Moon, and also some sensitive people also are affected by the Moon cycle, and the Moon cycles also affect the women menstrual cycle. And all tradition also to working with the land was actually following the Moon. So on this basis, I like to have some open-mindedness about that also the astrological movements of the Earth relating to this constellation will affect us and our consciousness. And where are we now? We are at a cross between the end of the Persian Age and the beginning of the Aquarius Age. Not only that, we are on a 26,000 year cycle, what is called the precession of the equinoxes. They often coincides with the tilting of the poles, or a pole shift. Now, science has not validated the fact that we ever had a pole shift on Earth. There is contradictional data on these facts as well. Some people say, yes, we had pole shift before, and some others will say, no, this is actually impossible scientifically that the Earth would tilt on itself. Well, those assumptions actually also they haven't taken certain celestial events that the ancient civilization instead are warning us about, including that there is a new sun cycle approaching, and the Mayans are really depicting this into their calendars. Now, calendars are not just the one much publicized by Hollywood in the movie 2012, but Mayan have lots of calendars, about 13 if I believe so, and only 9 are known, and the Tzolk'in, on which the 2012 date comes from, is only one of them, and they're considered to be sacred for them. And they are really also a way to learn about the solar cycles. Now, what happened on 2012? On 2012, some people would say actually on 21st of December 2012. Some others would actually say on the 12th of December 2012. There is an alignment, and the Earth is going to find itself aligned again with the central sun in the Milky Way. So it's not our sun we're talking about. We're talking about the central sun. And this is going to create a photon type of energy or light photon is also photon energy is also translated as light, that we're gonna be affected by. Now, science is not able to come to a conclusion on that. It says it's possible because we don't really have lots of data. We only have ancient civilization that have left some certainly not scientific papers on which we can base our these assumptions. So we live in a very interesting time. So it's not just that we closing to an age, so that we moving from Pisces to Aquarius on the zodiac, but we have other type of event which again are cyclical, including the precession of the equinoxes and the Earth aligning with the central sun. Now, according to mythology as well, we have gone through darkness or a dark night, beginning by the end of the age of Leo, if I remember well, up to the end of Pisces. So all thousands of years in which consciousness and the central sun, they have not been emitting light. So in order to believe this, we got to think that the age of Leo, the age of Virgo, the age of Libra, they preceded us. They were age of some kind of enlightenment, and people were actually more advanced in a way or another on Earth. And so that's where we find the myth of Atlantis and Lemuria too. And again, now at the end of the Piscean Age, we're entering the Golden Age, which is another age in which we find a line with the central sun, and an age in which consciousness is going to progress much further than what it is now. Now, what happens between those two, between an age and another, there will always be dates and powers of planetary alignment, as well as Earth changes. And we've seen some Earth changes we cannot explain from 2004 onwards. There is more on the Mayan, if you wanted to go into the 9 wave that ends on the 28th of October 2011. That's another very, very important date. And you can go on Kalaman and to learn more about the 9th wave if you wanted to. But this is just to give more base to what I was talking about time before, and why 1111 is possibly one of those dates that also the ancients and all civilization in Mesoamerica have been celebrating for decades, and sometimes even hundreds of years. They're getting together and they celebrate the 1111. And the Western world has also been celebrating the 1111 for quite some time. It happens that in 2011 we have 3 times 11. It's 11, 11, 11, 11, 11, 11.